My name is Malik Solomon, and I'm a software engineer.
And what are you involved in?
I'm involved in commercialization, development, and software, but as invention and patenting behind quantum computing.
And what is quantum computing?
Quantum computing is a cryofero electric doping system that involves that allows a like a system of mechanics developed as to if an atom is perceived ergonomically outside of the conflation of a person's measurement system and the correspondence to actual features of changes to an atomic structure that is also observed. It's a question of innuendo into the observation of mechanics and different atomic changes that are available to a doping system that is by dint of changing an atom to create the ferrosympathetic reasonability between different types of metallic enchainment and programming to systems of the materials of chemical affinities with them. And I do what's called the resistivity part, which is to allow a compressor that responds to all this information to know exactly what pieces of the particle physics, of the morphic physics that can be certain of when looked at from a computational perspective, so that the different enchainments look like hardware, and they run experiments and provost scenarios that have ousted me, but due to my bohemian nature and through the compensation of somebody that has a company, which I do. I own a company called Wildlife. And obviously, because we're dealing with an Internet of Things where changes to the metrics of commercialization based on, a high level of theoretical knowledge and also certain systemic alterations of chemical behaviors that people don't know about, and a very systemic bias of, obviously the notebook system that I would use, seemingly intuitive. Most programmers have to have the versification of other notebooks like HTML notebooks and Python notebooks, and for the complete and experience of my initial approach and my initial inculcation in this area of invention and in this area of mechanics, I allowed there to develop differences in the Internet of Things based on programming. And in terms of like programming specifics.
So you're basically like a brilliant scientist
I'm an
and
artist,
mathematician.
yeah, that's my calling card. I'm also a very flawed human being in terms
Aren't we
of
all?
yeah, just like how I didn't know all that much about the spectrum of things that would change. Now I do. Obviously, in the past 3 years, I've commercialized myself, and it's just a basic question of, how much how much does the principal information behind using this type of computer and how much it will change systems really feature an elasticity of human behavior, and for the sake of companies that are interested in systematizing the Internet of Things based on trends and the tenets of commercial behaviors and the markets, and my complete inability to master or even just to kind of accommodate the basics of those query languages in computing. I missed a big part of it. I've done good. I've been able to show that this technology has a foothold. Many people will cite that it's being built into experimental computation and.
Now I want to stop you because normally when I hear the word quantum, I hear healing.
Well, that's interesting.
How is this being used in that?
Well, interestingly, I got involved because of a program that invoked my potential to heal as a person that was dealing with, the organization of sound, the human organization of sound, which I got into in the valence of, being a communicator in the medical sense of, vocation, and I was dealing with a letters degree that I wanted to addend to letters of, administration in medicine and to letters of, the Hippocratic oath that would be taken by, I thought I'd become a medical broker or some kind of thing like that. And I developed a program, I developed a concept called the morphic resonance. This was in 2013. The morphic resonance is about the question of confusion on the part of a behaving structural linguistics and a communicating human being about his or her organon of physical parameters and where a person interacts with another person. It's about, on the other hand, or oppositely, that the eyes are
the windows to the soul.
Of course, with that they don't experience confusion. The eyes are tactile. The eyes are able, as the skin does, to respond to a tactical process of apprehension, and through the behavior of the touching of an environment of sensibility. And this was a proof that I wrote, and it involves that the other skin develops because of the eyes, and a refractory sense of this sensibility that I wrote into a physical framework, physical architecture, and I wanted to know how it could ever be logical. So the quantum computer basically proves that this is logical. For a long time, the market said, the error correction of the resistor is or at the very sense of the quantum computer, was, this error correction in terms of like the development of a certainty of measurement. And it is a component of the algorithm. They're two different things. They develop differently, but that's kind of how.
If people want to get in touch with you, how do they do it?
I'm in touch with a number of, with a lot of people. They can get in touch with me on Facebook or on LinkedIn, or, they just call me and stuff.
And what is your company again?
My company is called Wildlife.
I want to talk to you more, but unfortunately, I have another event I have to get to. You're prolific, and I definitely want to hear more.
Yeah, we'll talk more. I'm developing a VR experience that represents the fact that the eyes have a tactical approach, and they have a tactical attributes that can be experienced in the brain as it sorts information, as it comes to an assortment of information that establishes basically a measured certainty of experiences. So what we want to do is take a VR experience, which is an influx of certainty to a point that is overwhelming. When you put in a VR goggle on, you see a world so much to the effect that you would take it for something of a certainty, of a contract with experience that is involved in narrative establishment. And what morphic resonance allows us to do is take ASMR, autonomous sensory meridian responses, that are developed particularly by women more so than with men. We want to take a female actress, reincarnate her through quantum systems metrics of the Geronimo behind medicine that was the
Right.
foundation for the quantum computer. And we would like to use that sense of gestalt and create a kind of renovation of the narrative while the person is experiencing the VR at that time.
I definitely want to hear.
We're gonna do it. It's gonna happen, and Articom is has been so good as to endorse me to build this type of program. So if we can succeed, that'll be
Well,
something
I
to
am
see.
looking so forward to seeing this and hearing more about it. Thank you so much. Thank you for being with us.
Thank you.